say build a bitch. You don't get to pick and choose. Different ass and bigger boobs. If my eyes.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Siti Khabibah with student registration number 2001 000009. I'm student from Diploma 3 Accounting and Taxation Study Program at Perbanas Institute. Today, I would like to present my final project paper, and the title is The Influence of Service Quality on Student Achievement in Accounting Subjects. This video is a presentation of my final project paper prepared for Mr. Ignatius Septo Pramesworo, M.Ed. TESOL, M.M. as my lecturer in English for professional purposes. Contents of our discussion today consist of 7 points. First, background. Second, purpose and scope. Third, assumptions. Fourth, methods. Fifth, limitations. Sixth, theoretical framework. And the last is data analysis. In the last final explanation, there is conclusion and recommendation. Okay, thank you. Now, I would like to move to the first subchapter in chapter 1, namely 1.1 background. 1.1 background. Perbanas Institute has a faculty that focuses on banking finance, namely the Faculty of Economics and Business, or FEB. This faculty has two study programs that focus on accounting, namely Diploma 3 Accounting and Taxation, or DAT, and S1 Accounting, or SA. The study programs has lecturers who are competent and qualified in their fields. The quality of lecturer service can be seen from the quality of service provided. Service quality is a comparison between services that are felt to be the same or exceed to expected service quality, so that service can be said to be of high quality and satisfying. Arif, 2007. According to Parasuraman in DPOAD 2008, service quality can be seen from 5 dimensions, including tangible, reliability, responsiveness, assurance, and empathy. Dimension of service quality provided by this lecturer can affect student achievement. Student achievement is a process carried out by students to obtain and achieve the desired goals during the lecturer period. Student achievements can be seen from their academic score, ability to explain material to others, and being able to answer lecturers' questions when asked. Not only that, student achievement is reflected in the ability of students to understand the material given by the lecturer. In the DAT and SA study programs, there are 2 courses: Introduction to Accounting 1 and Introduction to Accounting 2. These courses aim to provide an overview of the process of making financial reports and basic learning about internal control. In learning, there are several obstacles. First, the lack of basic knowledge and understanding in accounting courses. Second, the low concentration of students when taking accounting lessons. To overcome these obstacles, there are several solutions that must be done. First, students must practice often so that their abilities are further honed. Second, students must actively ask questions when the lecturer explains. When the quality of service provided by the lecturer is very good, students will feel satisfied with the service. Okay, thank you. Now we are going to second subchapter in chapter 1, namely 1.2 Purpose and Scope. 1.2 Purpose and Scope. Final project paper aims to analyze the influence of service quality on student achievement in accounting subjects. Service quality is all forms of service carried out by a person or service provider to the fullest with all the advantage in order to meet customer needs and expectation. Hikmatul 2015. This final project paper will focus on two topics. First, this final project will explain the effect of service quality. The quality of service is related to the service of Urbanus Institute lecturers to students. The service provided by lecturers include friendliness, speed of service, and ease of consultation. Second, this final project will explain student achievement. Student learning achievement is a description of student abilities obtained from the result of the assessment of student learning process in achieving teaching goals. Jalal, 1986. The service quality of lecturers is a benchmark for students to achieve their learning achievements. There are several ideas that will not be discussed, namely, course others than accounting, student background, and facilities provided by the Urbanus Institute. Okay, thank you. I would like to move to the next subchapter, namely 1.3 Assumptions. 1.3 Assumptions. This final project paper is based on the assumption that the quality of service provided by lecturers will have a positive effect on student achievement. It's just that some students have different expectations with the service provided. Therefore, the quality of lecturer service needs to be conveyed properly because the quality of lecturer service is the result of work carried out by lecturers in the context of fulfilling the three dharma of higher education and the 5 dimensions of service quality. When the implementation of the quality of service provided by lecturers is in accordance with the three dharma of higher education, students will feel satisfied with the service provided. This makes students enthusiastic for achievement increase. Okay, thank you. Next, we are going to the next subchapter in chapter 1, namely 1.4 Methods. 1.4 Methods. This final project uses literature study research and field research. Library research are studies that are used to collect information and data with the help of various materials in the library such as documents, books, magazines, historical stories, etc. Mardalis, 1999. While field research is studying intensively about the background of the current situation and social interaction, individual, group, institution, and society. Hussaini, Usman et al., 2006. In this paper, the authors collect data from journal and reading books. In addition, the authors also distribute questionnaire to the respondent to complete this research. Demographic information used as a sample in the study includes gender, batch, study program, score in Introduction to Accounting 1, and scores in Introduction to Accounting 2. This research was conducted on 20 students of the DAT and SA study programs of Urbanus Institute. Students who filling out the survey represent all students who have completed the Introduction to Accounting 1 and the Introduction to Accounting 2 course. The results of this survey are presented as a percentage. 1. on gender. 30% of respondents were male and 70% of respondents were female. 2. Based on the study program, 50% of the respondents are study program of Diplomatry, Accounting and Taxation study program, and 50% of the respondents are students of S1 Accounting study program. 3. Based on the batch, 75% respondents are from 2019, 20% respondents are from 2018, and 5% respondent is from 2017. 4. Based on grade of the Introduction to Accounting 1 course, 35% respondent had A grade, 30% respondent had an A- grade, 20% respondent had a B+ grade, 10% respondent had a B grade, and 5% respondent had a B- grade. 5. Based on grade of the Introduction to Accounting 2 course, 20% respondent had an A grade, 50% respondent had an A- grade, 10% respondent had a B+ grade, 15% respondent had a B grade, and 5% respondent had a B- grade. Okay, thank you. Now we are going to the last subchapter in chapter 1, 1.5 Limitation. 1.5 Limitation. In the completion of this writing, the author encountered several obstacles. The author has limited time, lack of ideas in making questionnaire question, and sometimes the laptop use has problems. However, the author tries to overcome these obstacles and tries to complete the final project of this paper as best as possible. Okay, thank you. Because the discussion in chapter 1 has been complete, next I would like to discuss chapter 2, first chapter in chapter 2, 2.1 Theoretical Framework. 2.1 Theoretical Framework. Quality of service, a comparison between reality and consumer expectation. If the reality received is more than expected, then the service can be said to be of quality. If the reality is less than expected, then the service is said to be of poor quality. Gurianto 2010. It can be concluded that service quality is all forms of service carried out by a person or service provider to the fullest with all advantage in order to meet customer need and expectation. According to Parasuraman in DPOAD 2008, service quality can be seen from 5 dimensions, including tangible, reliability, responsiveness, assurance, and empathy. Good and responsive service will provide a positive value of provide a good image in the eyes of consumer, especially if every customer is handled with pride and good. According to Bloom in Refnolati et al. 2018, academic achievement or learning achievement is a learning process experienced by students and result in change in the fields of knowledge, understanding, application, analytical power, synthesis, and evaluation. According to Slamanto 2010, there are factors that influence learning which are classified into 2 groups, namely internal factor and external factor. Internal factor are factors that exist in individuals who are learning. External factors are factors that exist outside the individual, including family factor. Quality has a significant influence on student achievement. Service quality can be declared good if the service received exceeds consumer expectation. Conversely, if the service received is lower than expected, then the service quality is considered poor. Thus, whether service quality depends on the ability of service providers to consistently meet consumer expectation. Student achievement will continue to increase if students themselves are always success-oriented, like challenge and talk. The quality of service provided by lecturers is a driving factor for student achievement. Okay, thank you. Now we are going to the last subchapter in chapter 2, 2.2 data analysis. 2.2 data analysis. Based on the result of Likert question statement of service quality. Indicator number 6. The majority of respondents agree that lecturers are able to use various methods in learning. Indicator number 7. The majority of respondents agree that lecturer voice level, rate of speaking, and behavior are conducive to learning. Indicator number 8. The majority of respondents agree that lecturers can deliver the lecturer system at the beginning of the semester. Indicator number 9. The majority of respondents agree that lecturer can explain the rules, reference, and evaluation system during the lecturer process. Indicator number 10. The majority of respondents agree that lecturers can respond quickly when students need help. Indicator number 11. The majority of respondents agree that lecturer can motivate in learning process throughout the learning methods provided. Indicator number 12. The majority of respondents agree that lecturers are willing to take time when someone wants to consult. Indicator number 13. The majority of respondents agree that lecturers give tests according to the material being taught. Indicator number 14. The majority of respondents agree that lecturers are caring and friendly towards their students. Indicator number 15. The majority of respondents agree that lecturers give appreciation when students success in answering questions correctly. Based on the result of Likert question, statement of student achievement. Indicator number 16. The majority of respondents agree that I try to get the best grade and achievement. Indicator number 17. The majority of respondents agree that I can understand the material being taught. Indicator number 18. The majority of respondents agree and neutral that I can answer questions from lecturers. Indicator number 19. The majority of respondents agree and neutral that I can explain the material taught to others. Indicator number 20. The majority of respondents agree that I can evaluate my learning outcomes. Now is the last final explanation. There are conclusion and recommendation. 3.1 Conclusion. Based on the result obtained in this study, the relationship between service quality and student achievement in Introduction to Accounting 1 and Introduction to Accounting 2 course has a strong positive relationship. According to a survey I have done, then in the tangible dimension, 55% of respondents choose agree that lecturers are able to use various methods in learning. 50% of respondents choose to agree that lecturers' voice level, rate of speaking, and behavior are conducive to learning. In the reliability dimension, 50% of respondents choose to agree that lecturers can deliver the lecture system at the beginning of the semester. 55% of respondents choose to agree that lecturers can explain about rules, reference, and evaluation system during the lecture process. In the dimension of responsiveness, 55% of respondents choose agree that lecturers can respond quickly when students need help. 50% of respondents choose to agree that lecturers can be motivated in the learning process through the learning methods provided. From the assurance dimension, 50% of respondents choose to agree that lecturers are willing to take the time when someone wants to consult. 60% of respondents choose to agree that lecturers give tests according to the material being taught. From the empathy dimension, 65% of respondents choose to agree that lecturers are caring and friendly towards their students. 40% of respondents strongly agree that lecturers give appreciation when students success in answering questions correctly. Based on the result of research on student achievement, 40% of respondents vote strongly agreeing that I try to get the best grade and achievement. 60% of respondents choose to agree that I can understand the material being taught. 40% of respondents choose to agree, and 40% of the respondents choose neutral that I can answer questions from lecturers. 45% of respondents choose neutral that I can explain the material to others. 40% of respondents choose to agree that I can evaluate my learning outcomes. Okay, thank you. Now we are going to the last discussion of this presentation, namely 3.2 recommendation. 3.2 recommendation. Based on the result of this study, the authors give 5 solutions related to problems that arise. This problem was taken from result of respondents who choose neutral, disagree, and strongly disagree. First, there are 40% of respondents who state that they were neutral on their ability to answer questions given by the lecturer. Basically, every student has their own point of view. In fact, many students can answer questions from lecturers, but they prefer not to answer. They choose not to answer because there are still many students who are not confident in their abilities. In addition, they also don't dare to start something new. From that problem, lecturers and students must be able to establish good communication. Not only that, lecturers must also be able to create a comfortable learning atmosphere so that the motivation for achievement grows in their students. Second, there are 45% of respondents who state that they were neutral about their ability to explain the material to others. Being able to explain to others is manifestation of the success of student achievement. Facts found in the field, there are some students who prefer to pretend not to know rather than trying to explain to others. This happens because there is a fear of being rivaled if other people have abilities above that individual. In fact, the more often they explain into others, the more then knowledge will stick in their memory. From this problem, lecturers must bridge between students with one another. Bridging in this case is by providing solutions such as creating study group in each course. With this study group, a sense of kinship and empathy for students will emerge. Not only that, when there is a study group, there are no students who are afraid of being reformed because the group scores will be the same according to the group's performance. Third, there are 20% of respondents who said that they were neutral and 5% of respondents who said they didn't agree with the ability of lecturers in delivering the lecture system at the beginning of the semester. There are some lecturers who don't deliver the lecture system at the beginning of the semester. This makes students not have an idea related to learning for one semester. Not only that, students also do not know about the assessment system carried out by the lecturer for one semester. From this problem, students should ask when the lecturer does not convey about the lecture system at the beginning of the semester. Sometimes, many lecturers forget not to deliver the lecture system because they feel they have delivered it in the beginning of the meeting. In fact, the lecturer delivered the lecture system in another class. From this, communication between lecturers and students is very important. Students must actively ask if the lecturer does not explain, so that learning will run conducive and effective. This is the end of my presentation. May be useful for all of us. Thank you for your attention. See you next video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.